Hey folks, I'm Bill and that's Aaron, and we're going to show you our garden. We have a bunch of beets planted. They're a little thick, we need to thin them out, but we just hadn't got around to it yet. They're fodder beets. And there's a cucumber growing in there. Loaded with blooms. Got a watermelon growing in there with them also. Doesn't have any blooms on it yet. And another cucumber. And it's got cucumbers and blooms on it also. Another cucumber over here. Same thing. The beets around the edge seem to be doing the best. I guess they get the most moisture when the rest of it's dry. And there's another cucumber there. And over here we have lettuce. About 4 rows of leaf lettuce. Short little, about 12, 14-foot rows. And growing in the buckets we have potatoes. We've started out with the buckets about 6 inches deep of compost, and now they're about 6 inches from the top or 8 inches from the top. That's all we're going to put in them, and we're going to let them go. They're already putting some flowers on, looks like. They look good. We have about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 buckets out here of them. I have an old carrot from last year that was still growing. We left it grow. And some chives, more chives, and some shallots, and onions, mint, chocolate mint, more cucumbers. We like cucumbers. And a row of head lettuce. It also needs to be thinned and weeded. Taters, 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 taters. More cucumbers. Some beans. Some cantaloupe that we're going to put some wire on these little rest of this trellis and let the cantaloupe grow up this side, the beans in the middle, and the cucumbers over the center. And hopefully that'll all shade this lettuce and maybe it'll grow a little better. And we have some zucchinis. A little bit of corn mixed in, some rows that we planted, and it just, most of it didn't come up. Some of it did. Got zucchini there. It's looking pretty good. We only planted all this stuff about a month ago, maybe a month and a half at the most. Corn's looking pretty bad. It ain't doing much of nothing. That zucchini's a little bit smaller than the rest, but it's okay. This is a squash plant we started in the aquaponics and decided to move to the dirt because it was taking over the tank. It's got squash all over it and blooms. Romaine lettuce, white eggplant, another romaine lettuce that we kind of ate some of, and some little watermelons in here that aren't really doing much. A peach tree right in the middle. Well, not in the middle, but close. And tomatoes. We started them off about 4-inch tall plants a little over a month ago. And now they're at the top of these pretty heavy little cages that we got for them. We got carrots planted in there with them as a ground cover, and we're going to add some straw mulch to that too, kind of hold the moisture for the carrots and tomatoes. But they've got blooms all over them, been growing like crazy, and here are tomatoes everywhere. And more little tomatoes forming everywhere too, even at the tops. There's a cluster of about 5. Tomatoes are doing great. Carrots around them are doing pretty good. Been using compost tea on everything. Well, everything except for the potatoes. And here's some more potatoes. We started these from seed potatoes and put them in some plastic totes that we cut in half. Poked a bunch of holes in the bottom, or drilled a bunch of holes, and wound up filling them up to about halfway, and then we're going to go from here with straw the rest of the way. They're doing okay, except for the last 2 days they kind of started cupping the leaves. I don't know what that is. If anybody knows, if they would just leave me a comment. Other than that, they look great. Some of them are starting to flower also. We love potatoes and onions. We like them with our potatoes. They're doing pretty well. A lot of them in there. They've been thinned out to where I believe they'll be alright. But something's been eating on some of them. I don't know what'll do that. I thought onions were kind of a natural pest control almost. And we have sweet potatoes in here. And a couple onions, and looks like a whole lot of weeds we need to pick. The compost we got had a lot of weed seed in it, but it was free, so. Here's some that we never did hill up. We need to real bad. They're about a little over a foot tall. There are more potatoes, but we got these at the store and cut them in half and put them in here. And over on the other side, oh, there's the wife Amelia. Over on the other side we have carrots. There's some little red, white, and blue carrots in here, some Amazon carrots, and just some regular carrots that just cheap seed we bought. And they're doing great. Every now and then something will eat one of the tops out, but it comes right back thicker. More potatoes. Bought from the store and cut in half. And they're doing pretty well. A few little onions and potatoes in some buckets. And these potatoes we got out of our worm bin. They grew from potato skins, along with these. We have a lot of potato skins that, in fact, all of them that we put in the worm bin, the worms don't eat them. The skins wind up sprouting and making potato plants. So we plant them. Over here we have the aquaponics garden that I've kind of let go and hadn't tended too much lately, but it's loaded with tomatoes also. There's some pretty good sized ones in there. prop these plants up a little better. The broccoli back here has just been ate up. I guess grasshoppers or something got to it. My thornless blackberry that I planted, or took out of the garden rather, and put in here is doing great. It started off tiny, just a root, and it's went crazy. Mint, we ate most of it up. It ain't doing all that great no more. Tomatoes are doing pretty good, except that I'm still making little tomatoes. Still waiting on these bigger ones to ripen. They're turning kind of, this one is turning kind of yellow on the top. This year I'm using goldfish, which are eating the roots. I have a few brim in there also. And I get some of that food out there. That's good food. And the brim, they eat most of the food. They're little hogs. Brim do a lot better in here than the goldfish. Goldfish wind up eating roots. But the brim get most of the food, and they get it so quick you almost can't see them get it. See that? Goldfish didn't even have a chance. Drop a piece of feed in there and it's gone before you can see it go. The brim are sitting down there just waiting and watching. The goldfish are watching, but they're not quick as the brim. Oh, goldfish got that piece. No, brim got that one now. Brim. Goldfish finally got a piece. The only way the goldfish get any is if I throw a bunch in there. But it's doing pretty well. I got a little pump in there, and it recirculates water through a little pea gravel filter. Got my compost tea brewing here. Have an aerator in the bottom of it, and put some manure, compost, molasses, a whole list of ingredients in there, and I've been putting that on tomatoes. Not much other than tomatoes and the bell peppers. Oh, I haven't shown the bell peppers yet. Bell peppers are right here. They were itty bitty plants also. We planted them about a little while back. They already have little bell peppers on them. They've been blooming for a couple weeks now, and there's little bell peppers forming. And more blooms. Got one potato, or two potatoes planted in the dirt out here. We've healed them up right before we mulched with this wheat straw. It was getting so dry around here we had to do something. And we also have a spot that we planted some sugarcane seed. I don't know if this is it or if this is some kind of weed grass or something, I don't know, but I don't know if that's sugarcane or not. I planted a row here, but and right here we have sweet banana peppers. They're loaded with blooms, and there's some little bitty peppers on there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Loaded down, and little plants yet too. I've been feeding them compost tea also. The jalapenos. Got one little runt here that isn't doing much. The rest of them already have little baby peppers on them starting to form, and won't be long and we'll have some jalapenos.